Alrighty, welcome everybody to the next video of this program. Now we're just going to jump straight into it. The main topic that we're going to be talking about in this video all going to be to do with the platforms that are available, that are out there, and we're going to dive into a very powerful platform that every trader uses on a day-to-day basis called TradingView. Where to find it, how to create an account, and obviously how to set it up so it's available to, essentially use the platform correctly and to be able to use it like every other trader, right? And I'll go through and I'll talk about a few different tools and stuff that we use on there as well. But as you can see on the screen, these are the different platforms available. Now, this is a summarized list. It's not every single platform that's out there. Some are brokers, some aren't brokers. And these are sort of the most popular platforms that are out there. Now, I do recommend you all do your own research on finding what brokers are going to be the best for you and what platform's going to be best for you as well. I know that there's some people that they set up a brokerage account and they connect it to TradingView and place trades through TradingView. I know that there's people that create a brokerage account. They sign up through Plus 500 or Interactive Brokers or 8Cup, for example, and then they connect it to MetaTrader to place trades. So we're going to dive into all of that in a future video. And I'm also going to talk about in the next video what makes a good broker. So you can go away and do your own research. But for now, let's just talk about TradingView. Alrighty, legends. So we're on Safari now, Google, whatever platform that you use. Just search up TradingView in Google and you will be brought to this section. All you want to do is press TradingView and you'll be brought to the home page. Now, this is where you press Get Started and you can go through and look at the different plans available. Now, there's really, to be honest, for most traders, you're only going to need Essential or Plus. You don't really need Premium or Ultimate. I have had the Ultimate before and there's really no need for it. I've sort of only just come back to Plus because you really don't need it. But if you have a look, they have monthly and annually plans. But if you have a look at each of these plans, they offer obviously different services. So the smallest one, the Essential, 2 charts per tab, 4, and then the next one is 4 charts per tab, etc., etc. You can go through, have a look at this, find what's best for you. But honestly, Plus is going to be perfect for you. And if you're at an entry level and you've only just sort of starting to get into trading, or this is the first time that you've watched a course before, I wouldn't recommend buying any of these straight away. Just use the free version. You can absolutely use the free version. So you can go through here, have a look at everything. But if we go up to the top, press Products, press Super Charts. That will bring you to a free version of TradingView. And from here, you can have a look at a lot of different assets. This is your watch list over to the right here. But essentially, I'm going to show you how to set it up so it looks similar to mine, right? So let's do that. Alrighty, so I've actually downloaded TradingView. There is an app. You'll see the option on the website there. I would highly recommend you actually download it onto the desktop. Whether you use Mac or Windows, it has both options there. And it'll look similar to the free chart that was available that I just showed you on the website. But create an account, set up your profile, download TradingView, and then you can essentially start doing exactly what I'm doing now. So obviously my charts look very different. And what we're going to start with is, because there's so many things to look at, is this left-hand side column here. Obviously you can see this little section here, which is your tools taskbar, your favorites, whatever you want to call it. But it's just easier to access these tools if they're favorited, and then they're essentially in your own little toolbar. You can move them wherever you want as well. But we're going to dive through if you click on these little arrows here, it'll show you different options. So obviously you can see here, this is the cursor section. If you want an arrow, you want like a normal circle, or the cross, which is what I use. I like using the cross. It's very easy to navigate and look at price. Completely up to you. Now, we want to look at this next section. I have highlighted the trend line. I don't worry about any of these because I don't use it. The horizontal line is very useful. Horizontal ray is very useful as well. So if you just hover over this section here, you'll see a little star. If you press favorites, you can see that it's popped up down the bottom now. And you can also move these depending on where you want them in your taskbar as well. But I've just unfavorited that. So just go ahead, favorite all the ones that I have favorited if you want to, or you can favorite your own, but these are the ones that I use. And I think most strategies are going to, use those tools as well. Now, I do have the fib retracement tool highlighted as well. So that's in the next section. And I'm going to show you how to actually set it up. So it's, useful. I don't use the fib retracement much because I don't use it as a confluence or anything like that, but it can be good to measure sometimes. Now, the pattern section, I have none of this. This is ridiculous. This is very important. This next section, the long position and short position. They're both, when you actually place a buy, this is how you measure up the buy position and the short position. So it's very, very useful that you highlight those as well. And then we go to the next session, brush. That can be very useful as well to be able to circle things, to come back to it. If you're journaling, etc. Rectangle, you're going to need that. The path, I like to use that similar to the trend line, but it's got a little bit more flexibility there. And the circle as well. Now, I also highlight the text because, again, that is very useful to have. When I first started trading, I used to actually put, so just say right now we're on gold. I would write each of the time frames. So as you can see, we have all these time frames at the top here, which we're going to get into. But I would write whether we were bearish or bullish on each of those time frames and keep it on my screen. And that helped me when I first started trading. So it could be something that helps you as well. This pin, I have also used the pin icon as well and the call out icon. Some of these tools I don't use often, but they're still very useful to have. And I do use them occasionally. That's why I have them highlighted. There's emojis in here if you want to use them, but I don't really use them. This is a measuring tool. So you can click on this and actually measure things, and it will tell you the percentages and also the pips or the ticks depending on what asset that you're looking at. You've got a zoom icon here as well, but we don't need to look at that. And minus as well. We've got a magnet mode, keep drawings. So that will essentially lock in your drawings. But this next tool here is actually really useful. So let's just say you've got a bunch of drawings on the chart. Let's just put a bunch of mess here, and you've done your analysis, but you want to show just the chart, just the price action without seeing all your drawings. You can press this here and it'll hide all your drawings. They're still there, it hasn't deleted it. It's just essentially hidden it. And then you click on this again and all of it will appear. And you can also right click and remove all drawings as well. And that will remove it just like I've done. But what we're going to dive into now is the time frames up the top here. So if you click on this arrow, it'll show you all of the different time frames that you have available. Depending on the plan that you have, there's some time frames that you won't be able to access. Usually like the 1 second, 5 second, 10 second, etc. You don't need to access them. If you're looking at the 1 second chart, I don't know what you're doing, unless you're a quant trader and you're using an algorithm and you need to see that sort of tick by tick price action, but you really don't. So I wouldn't worry about that. But these are all the timeframes that I have marked. Now, you can actually add the 12 month if you want to. The 1 month, I do look at these two mainly for just an overall snapshot So I want to look at the long-term price action for that asset. But the weekly down is what I use for my multi-time frame analysis. So I would highlight the weekly, daily, 4-hour, 1 hour, 15-minute, 5-minute, 2-minute, and the 1-minute time frame. And that way, it'll look something like this. Now, it's very useful to have all of these things. And if you click on the monthly or 12-month, the chart will change and you can see all of that historical price action, right? So this goes back to 1933, which is quite extensive. But obviously, if we change to monthly, the chart will change. So essentially, that means that same price action, as you can see, same value. It's just this monthly time frame. One of these candles here is 1 month's worth of price action. So it's taken 1 month to form this candle. And we're going to dive all into this in future videos when I talk about candlesticks. But essentially, in summary, that's what that means. Again, work my way down to the weekly. One of these candles is 1 week's worth of price action, meaning 4 weekly candles would be 1 monthly candles. So you can see it's the same move, just more candles. It's sort of minimized. And that's why it's important to have smaller time frames, because you can work your way down from the higher picture, have a look at the overall movement and direction for that asset, understanding the behavior of it long term, then scaling down and trying to find short-term opportunities and also potential risks as well. Because even if you're a swing trader, you're taking positions over a long period, it's still very useful to actually scale down to the lower time frames and have a look at internal market structure, looking at potential risks. You might have a fundamental analysis, you were bullish, you're in a buy, but a few different economic indicators have actually changed your bias, and now short term you're bearish or it's completely shifted. So you want to find that shift in your technical analysis, but on the lower time frames. If you weren't looking at the lower time frames, you wouldn't have actually found that price is starting to change structure altogether, meaning you won't be able to take profit as high up as what you could have. But without rambling on, let's go to the next section. So this is candles. So it essentially, you can view the chart in different ways. Hollow candles, you can use volume candles, different plan, obviously, but candles is all you need, right? Indicators, there's 2 indicators that I like to use. So these are your favorited indicators. If we click on this here, you can see that these are the 2 indicators that I use, and it's very useful to use these 2. Volume, I don't use much. VWAP, I always use. It's such an important tool to use, and we're going to get into that in future videos as well. But if you just search up this exact name right here by the Young Guzi, favorite that, and it'll come up into your favorite section. You'll also see it just down here. So you'll be able to highlight that. And if I go down to the 15-minute time frame, you can see this indicator, and I can hide that. I've also got another one here as well, which my friend created. What we're going to do is actually look at, you don't need to worry about this as much. We're going to talk about alerts. So you can manually press alerts here from this section, but what's a much easier way to set alerts is just say you want to set an alert here, right at this point. You just hover over it at that price level, you right click, and then you can come down. It says add alert on XAU USD at this price point, which was the price point which was in line with that level. Press yes, and you can add an alert name and a message and all that sort of stuff. You can have a play around with this. Press create, that's your alert. So when price comes up into this level, it'll go absolutely ballistic. But let's talk about the next thing. So this is undo changes. So just say you draw this big box, for example, and you accidentally delete it. Oh no, you can just press undo and it's right there, or Control Z, like that. The next thing that we'll talk about is the different layouts. So this essentially splits your screen up into multiple charts. So here there's two. You can look at gold on this one and GBP USD on this one. You can have two different assets, or you can actually look at gold on both screens, have the 4 hour time frame and the 5 minute time frame on two different screens if you want to. But at my computer setup in my office, I've got multiple screens, so I don't really need to do that. And the next thing is you can actually, and what we're going to do is get into the customization. So if you want your chart to look very similar to mine, you can actually create a custom layout. So what I would do now is actually, let's get into the customization part. So you've already favorited your tools. You sort of understand what this is. You have your time frames up the top. You've got your indicators. You understand how these move. We're going to get into the customization of your chart. Then we're going to talk about your watch list. And that pretty much covers most features that you're going to use on TradingView. So if you right click on the chart anywhere, try not to do the candles, just on the canvas, that's what it's called, the background. Press settings. If we go up to symbol, now this will be actually customizing the colors of the candlesticks. So I have, if you want the same colors as mine, I'm going to show you exactly what colors to use. If not, you can use your own colors. It's completely up to you, but this is how you customize it. So if you wanted to go to this color, so 4th from the top and 4 in this bottom right corner, press that, and 100% opacity, and it's the exact same for all of these, the body, borders, and wick. The opposing color is top left-hand corner, a white at 70% opacity, because yeah, it's just a bit too bright, as you can see there. So if I just put this back to 70%, it's much better to look at, still nice and clean. Also set your time zone to whatever time zone that you're in. It's probably automatically chosen it for you. But yeah, go through and click that. Make sure that your status line has everything ticked like it is on my end. Scales and lines, make sure that this is all very similar to mine. Go through here. This is all the same as well. You can change the colors if you like to. Canvas, so this is the background. Now, my background is a gradient. It's not a solid. It looks a bit tacky with its solid. So I like the gradient. So the first color is, what is the first color? I think it was a custom color. Yeah, I think this was a custom color. So go through and choose what colors that you want to choose, what's easiest for you to view the charts, because it's all personal preference at the end of the day. And then go through grid lines, vertical and horizontal, or I don't actually have any because I've just put the opacity to 0. So it'll essentially look like this. And if some people like it like this, a grid, some people don't. I don't. I like it just nice and clean with no grid lines in the background, and you can set it just like that. The rest, the text is always white. And just make sure your settings are the same as mine, alerts as well, and events. So you can go through here and look at the events, and if I unclick only future events, you can see down the bottom here that it shows major upcoming catalysts or past catalysts that have occurred on this asset. And it will be different for every asset that you look at. But if I click only future events, it'll only show me upcoming major catalysts. And that's super useful to have. Press OK. And once you've customized everything, you can right click on the candles. It pretty much takes you to the exact same thing. Anyway, I think ages ago when I first started trading, there were 2 different right clicks. So you'd have to actually right click on the candle to change the candles and vice versa. But just come down to here and create new layout. And then you can save it as whatever layout or name that you want, and it will save that customization for you. You can also set different layouts as well, depending on if you want different colors and what mood you're in, I guess. But once you've done that, let's talk about the assets, the watch list, because your watch list is probably messy right now. If you want, there's probably like stocks like Apple and stuff on your watch list. Just go through, right click. Actually, just press the delete button here on the right hand side, and that will remove it completely. I remember before it was actually a right click and you could delete, but they've got the delete icon there now, which is good. And you can move these around. So if I want, to clean up my watch list a bit, you can absolutely do so. Now you can actually add symbols from here, or you can go up the left hand side and you can click on the asset here, or you can click on this. So there's many places that you can change the asset, but let's say I want to look at GBP USD, right? It's going to show a million different assets that, they're all the same, but if you look at the right side, they're all different broker accounts. Now, I would personally use the broker that you've signed up to. If you haven't signed up to a broker yet, that's completely fine. Don't worry about it too much. I would probably just choose Oanda. You can go back and change all of these as well. Once you've signed up to a broker, you can also, we're going to get into that later, but that's how you add assets to your watch list. And all you got to do is, this is how you can categorize them, change different colors if you want to, they mean different things. I used to do dark colors for assets that I wasn't interested in, light colors for good assets that I was interested in. But if you just click on this, you will be able to view the charts, which is absolutely awesome. And you'll see on the right hand side all of the assets that you've added to your watch list. And for me, I've got, if you want to make it this similar, these are all the major currency pairs that I trade. I do have a look at the S&P 500 as well. It's an index fund, just as an overall health check for the economy. USD JPY and gold as well. But the DXY, that's very important to have if you're trading major currency pairs. What you can notice about all of these currencies is they have the United States dollar as either the quote or the base currency, as you can see here and here. So it's very, very important to have the DXY mark there. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I think that's pretty much sums up everything that you use and that you need to know to navigate TradingView correctly and successfully. So there's probably a few things that I've missed, but this video will be so long if I include absolutely everything. I'm trying to summarize this as best I can so we can just keep moving forward and get into the interesting videos and topics as well, because I've got so much to talk about. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer. I have just noticed that my head has been covering this top left-hand side. So when I was talking about the watch list, this is where it is, guys. And this is an asset that you can look at as well. So if you click on that, then you'll see all the different assets there. But yeah, again, with that being said, guys, we'll just jump straight into the next video. We're going to keep rolling on. In the next video, we're going to talk about brokerages, what makes a good broker, setting up your account, all of that sort of stuff. So it's going to start to get a lot more interesting, and please stay tuned. Make sure you watch the videos right to the end so you can get all of the information, because even if you are experienced, I guarantee you that you will learn something. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Cheers, guys.